What's up, everybody?
Ah,
We're back.
what is up, y'all? Long
Jody
time no
is back.
see.
It's been a minute, Jody.
You know, dude, I've been working so many hours and just weird shifts, man. It's starting to wear on me. So
I hear you. Uh, I got called out to an impromptu meeting this morning, and I walked in about 30 seconds ago.
don't you love those impromptu? Those oh by the ways.
Oh, by the way, let's talk. And um, yeah, here we are.
What's up with you, Nathan?
Nathan,
Tired training every day.
I hear you, man. Where's
Getting ready.
where's old Tim?
I don't know. I called him. He didn't answer.
When
little
was the
Tim,
last time Tim and I were on the show at the same time?
maybe that's your alter ego. I mean, we don't see you ever in the same room together.
I mean, you both.
Hey, what are you going to say, Nathan?
Yeah.
Nathan, let's just recap here. What was the score? I mean,
So
technically, you should be disqualified because you sacrificed your patriotism for a win.
well, not. I didn't sacrifice my patriotism. I just thought logically, based upon matchups and how people have been inactive and stylistic matchups and stuff like that. But Tim came in with the big 5, and now he owes me 5. He came in second with 7. Ryan.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I had 9 correct. I only missed 5 out of everybody. So, I mean, that's pretty good.
All right, let's blast through it fast, and then we'll get to the fallout.
Ooh.
You got the list in front of you, Nathan?
I do. Tom's, we all know Tom's it was very one-sided against Artem. You guys didn't pick out Tom's for some reason. I don't know why.
We had some weird faith, maybe, that
Yeah.
something miraculous was going to happen.
The Catalina match was really good. We all 3 took Catalina. Adam and Vladimir Mairov, the one that just gave Samusha, a problem last time, made it pretty easy against him.
Mhm.
And then Ibrahim Sagov made Chance look pretty bad too.
Chance looks small, even in the smaller class.
Yep.
Anyway, go on.
Petrova beat Takanaka. You and I picked Petrova. We all
Nice
3
comeback,
picked.
by the way, too.
Yeah, we all 3 picked Daniel. Which, I mean, how can you not pick Daniel? Betkili Oniani and Artem Tainov. Like, that was a massively shocker there. How easy that was for Betkili. Sergey Kalinichenko and his destroying of Travis Bajan.
We need to talk about that a little bit, but let's go through the rest of these first.
Barabora beating Egla super convincingly. Todd and Krause, super one-sided. Orakli and Prudnik, super one-sided, which was shocking as well.
Too busy singing.
David
Was it shocking,
Dadikian.
though? Was it shocking? You got that one wrong, didn't you?
Yeah, I did get that one wrong.
Yeah.
Y'all got that one right. Tim's the only one that picked Todd, but you and I picked Krause. You guys didn't pick Barabora, I did. Y'all didn't pick Sergey either. We all picked Dadikian, but wow, was that a one-sided affair once it got out of the strap.
Tranko.
Yeah, and then Vitaly Morozov, that was extremely shocking. And then Samusha and Sasha, which was worth the price of admission.
Wait a minute. What did we pick on the
What?
Morozov match?
You and I picked Vitaly. He picked Morozov. And then on the Sasha and David Samusha, you guys picked David. I picked Sasha. And for me, that match is a match I've been wanting to see for forever. So that match alone for me was worth the price of the pay-per-view.
Natalia looked so smooth.
I can't say I'm surprised. So
I mean, if you look at Vitaly now, he's probably 70 pounds bigger than the last time he faced Levon, at least. Maybe 100. He's huge now.
Yeah. So you wanted to talk about the fallout. Where do you want to begin? Jody Williams.
Yeah, that's
Hey, well, because a lot of my teammates, you know, we have our own little message group, and they're Beja fans, rightfully so. I mean, you know, Travis is entertaining, but it goes to show that, and I could be off kilt when I say this, but this is no shot at Travis, because these are the facts, and he can, if he watches this and or his fans watch this, they want to sit there and put my feet to the fire, go ahead. But was it too much for Travis, you know, just to go right into that match? Because when you get ready for a big match, you got to have these buildups, right? I'm sorry, but those local events in West Virginia ain't helping you. Okay, it's
Is
not.
he doing local events in West Virginia?
Well,
Yes.
he would have these opens, and then he'll just like put his name in the hat. He'll smack everybody. It's on video, you know. That ain't helping you, because the array of talent. Okay, now fast forward to the Challenger Series. Okay, and had Derek Smith. It was exciting. That wasn't the original opponent, but so be it. It was Derek, right-handed. Okay, fine. No, I'm sorry. Was that left? Right, left-handed. But if you're going to get ready for a right-hand match, you have to have somebody that particular hand to get you ready for that. I'm sorry. It's just like, you can't just like, I'm not saying Travis came off the couch, but he even said yesterday on his show with Artem that, you know, he was kind of, you know, hey, maybe I should take this a little bit more seriously now that I know what I'm up against. I mean, every arm wrestler knows that, you know. I just think that, you know, Travis just, you know, who knows what he thought. In my opinion, I thought Travis kind of came in, does what Travis does, and realized that that stuff doesn't work anymore.
Well,
Just
I mean,
because
it only works when your power levels are similar.
Well, yeah, but just because you took time off doesn't mean the whole world took time off, though, either.
Ryan, do you remember from last week when I said that a few months ago Travis came out to practice with us, and it was not a good day for Travis? And I based that solely upon that, because in that short amount of time, pulling the people in the local little tournaments he's been doing, I knew that it was there's a massive difference between Sergey Kalyanchenko, who at super heavyweight is top 20 in the world, and at 115 is top 10, and a Travis Bajan.
I thought that we would see a similar Travis to the one that showed up in Moldova.
That's a big ask.
Yeah, but that was left-handed, though. That he's going to Kalyanchenko and not
even as the physical presence, though.
Because you know, Ryan, you're more confident left-handed than you are right, correct?
Yes.
There you go. So from a mental standpoint, trust me when I say this. I will go to a match, and if I'm pulling left-handed, I got so much more confidence than I do right-handed. And that's probably Nathan is vice versa, what have you. So you got to have that. That does play a factor, in my opinion.
Well, I put zero stock in his Derek Smith win. I'm sorry, because when's the last time we saw Derek Smith pull a match and or even win a match left-handed?
Right. So it was kind of like,
I don't think I've ever seen Derek win a notable match left-handed.
So was that match? I mean, there's no knock to chance, and then was that match even? What was that match then? That was just a filler. It was a money. You know what I mean? So.
Well, I mean, having Travis on the card would influence my decision to purchase it or not.
Yeah, exactly.
If I was on the fence, absolutely, yeah.
But now here's the question, though. Here's the ultimate question. Not to cut you off, but after watching him against Sergey Kalyanchenko, does that now sway your decision to buy one after his performance against Sergey?
Yes, and I will tell you why. Because if Travis, he'll get one more shot with me as a purchaser of a pay-per-view. He'll get one more opportunity. If he shows up and he gets smoked at the next event that I bought because he did not adequately prepare or has not returned to previous form, then I would hesitate for him to have, like, he would not have any influence over my decision to purchase a pay-per-view going forward if he does this again.
However, that depends on who else is on the card, though, too.
No, but if I'm on the fence and I'm like, okay, well, you know what? I'm on the fence. I'm buying this one. If Travis is on there, I'll buy it.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
next time around, if he does the same thing and he doesn't adequately prepare and he gets just blown out of the water again, it would not influence my decision to buy it or not. It would be considered a filler or even an undercard. But I'll give him another shot. I'll give him another chance. I think he'll take things a lot more seriously. He said it himself.
Mhm.
He thought he could do just enough, but it's clear in his own mind that he needs to step up his game considerably.
This ain't the early 2010s where he can get away with that. You can't. I mean, even since it seems like the sport evolves every 5 years, you know. And hell, the last time we saw him at a serious event was 5 years. Was that the Moldova where he pulled Georgie, right?
Last time we saw him pull right-handed, he pulled Saban Badalescu and Torres Pack.
Right. I mean, like a serious match. It was, his mind was right. He was on point.
Well, that was left-handed.
Right, Georgie.
Yeah, left-handed, yeah.
Why he's the right-hand man is beyond me, but is he scheduled to be in Florida next month?
I thought so from the last I saw, but it didn't have an opponent for him. And after watching that, if they were to give him, who are they talking about giving him? The flop presser.
No, that match is off now.
I said if they were to give him that, hypothetical, if hindsight being
That's
now,
not.
obviously, that would have been, I think, a very bad day.
Oh, it's not close.
Because I honestly believe that if you'd have gave Travis Sergey left-handed, Sergey still beats him. Because Sergey is just as good left-handed as he is right. We've seen him pull both. So,
I mean, that's the bottom line. We all gotta, not we, but we all gotta just. If you know you have a match coming up, you got to do everything in your power to get ready for it. You can't cut corners. And Travis has said himself he's a lazy person. He said it's hard for him to commit X amount of hours in the gym or whatnot. He even said that. So I mean, what I'm saying now ain't nothing you ain't never heard from him before. It's just like you just can't cut corners no more. The sport has evolved where you just can't. You got to come with your A+ game.
Well, I mean, you guys remember when Travis was super serious? You'd see him all the time. He'd have that towel and he's squeezing it. And, he's always, you see him. Like, you didn't see any of that leading up to it. So,
the towel.
Well, I mean, it was either that or the side pressure machine.
Yeah.
And, he would go on the show with Artem and, he'd sit there with the side pressure, and
I don't. But how much weight is on that? I mean,
can we talk about that? I mean, how serious is your training, or at least that session? If you're on a podcast and you're doing reps, like, what is the purpose of this?
I don't see it being serious at all. It's kind of for show.
But is it even a show?
Well, I mean, it was just like when Paul Italia was tight with Travis at the time, hanging out, and he was getting ready for a match, and last minute, it was a Brandon L. Seltzer was getting ready for somebody, and last minute Travis says, "Okay, I'll do it," but he wasn't training for it. So I mean, people take that match with Brandon going, "Oh, Travis is washed up." He took that last minute because it was a filler, and I don't know. I mean, was Travis always that guy that really got his mind ready for a match? Because sometimes, you could be just as gifted as anybody else and not have to train as hard as the three guys on this show. Because he's that gifted. And again, you can only go so far. I know people close to me and going, bro, you got the talent in the world, but you can't just show up and pull it. Those days are gone,
Yeah, especially the Europeans now, because it's a whole nother level over there.
And yes, Justin, he pulled his pec, neck, hamstring, and that thing is like purple. Black, blue, purple, whatever. He showed yesterday on the show, and I was like, yeah, he messed it up, but
yeah. Then we have a question from Victor asking, when are we going to see you on the East versus West stage? Well, I have no idea, man. It might never happen. Who knows?
I mean, you do have one coming up. You got a big match coming up with Metawangi, so
that's on September 7th at Global Elite.
Yeah. How you feeling? How's your training coming along?
Excellent. It's practice day today.
Nice. Now I do want to touch something on base. It was Ingen's comment. And I actually
Holy man.
voice messaged him, and he voice messaged me back.
Okay,
And you know where I'm going with this, right?
let's go.
Okay, so he made a statement, and I'm not going to read it word for word because I don't want to get all,
You're paraphrasing.
Yeah, I'll paraphrase. He was saying whether he's talking about the U.S. or North America or whatever, was saying we need more fresh blood, some new people, young people, instead of letting have our veterans take over and just, carry the flag for us. Like, don't put all the pressure on the Brazings, the Michael Todds, the Chafees, and Travis and Jerry Cataract of the world. I'm like, okay. So here was my message. I said, hey, Inge, what's up, man? Just want to respond to your question. I said, what was the purpose of the Challenger Series? Because I'm thinking, if baseball, for example, you have a farm team, right? Farm system. So what was the whole point of having the Challenger Series in Florida when you had guys like, Paul Passmore, for example, walk through his guy 3-0 against that guy from Italy? USA or North America had a great day that day. And I asked him, what was the purpose of that? Are we going to see anybody from there get on the stage? And basically what Ingen was saying, paraphrasing, that was a kind of a smaller event. We need more of those so we can figure out who can be elite. And I'm like going,
I agree with him, Jody, because not to cut you off, but like the people that the Americans pulled, right? If we're doing baseball, you have single A, double A, triple A is one right below the pros, right?
Yeah.
In my opinion, a lot of those people, the Europeans, so to speak, that the Americans are pulling are like single A, double A. Like they're not triple A. They're not the ones right below the.
That's fair, but why do we need Ingen to sort this all out by holding his own events? Because there's enough other promotions that should shine a spotlight on people that he can handpick guys from those promotions.
Yeah, I don't agree with you there at all, Ryan.
You don't agree with me?
That I do agree with you. I do agree with you. I agree with you completely. Yeah, I agree with you completely on that.
Okay, there's a lot of these promotions, like let's use the High Five, Monster Factory, Global Elite. I mean, I understand there's some politics in there too, but you see these guys rise. You see them go against Europeans. You see them. You see a lot of the arm wrestlers from Japan and Korea coming over here. A lot of the Australians are coming over and competing for these events. Why don't they get a phone call or there's lots of Americans going against them? Why isn't a guy like Jason Merlot? You have enough data on that guy that you could match him up at an East versus West pretty effectively.
Yeah, I agree.
I think if I'm guessing, and I don't want to put myself into Ingen's brain, he probably thinks he's not elite. But if you're going to ask that question, when we come up with options, don't shoot him down.
Yeah, that's right. I mean,
well, I can have a rebuttal to that, Jody, if you want. They have, not to take anything from Tom Holland, but they have Tom Holland on the card, and Merlot beat Tom Holland. Granted, it was a bit controversial, but he did beat Holland, and they have Holland pulling Tullier in August at East vs. West. So,
and Tullier lost at High Five as well.
To Svetan, yeah.
Yeah.
But Svetan can't. Svetan
cannot go.
Same way with Plum and Dimitrov. Everybody's like, who can beat David Samush at 85 kilos? I'm like, well, I'd love to see Plum because I think that's a hell of a match, but he can't be there. So.
It is a politics thing now.
Yeah. But I definitely agree with you guys. Like there are a lot of, but at the same time, like if you take, let's use a match for example from High Five. Let's use Wayne Withers and Mega Mike. Like you see the way Mega Mike just ran through Wayne, but is Wayne anymore? Like is Wayne the same after tearing his bicep against Tim Bresnan? Like there's a lot of variables to that. I think we'll know a lot more in the next match when Mike takes on whomever he's taking on, and then Mike. I could see if Mike continues his winning ways against people at Knuckles Up or something like that he could possibly get a shot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I think there are lanes to get into East versus West via these different promotions. It's just some of the people they're getting paired against aren't that,
Right.
that next level, right?
Because I thought, and how you doing, Neil? I thought that the whole purpose of the Challenger Series was to make sure that, okay, well, this might be a stepping stone, so to speak, because I just there were matches. I'll still rave about this one. I would have loved to see what would RVJ and Jerome Lau would have been. I would have loved to see that, to see where it happens after that. We never got to see that, unfortunately. But Paul Passmore, another powerful guy. I would love to see Paul Passmore and Mega Mike. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know if you would take the winner of that match and say, hey, give him a card, because you don't know until you know, right?
No, because I don't see Paul being that. No disrespect to Paul, but there's 6-7 guys in North America that would beat Paul right now, besides Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. It's just you don't know until you know, and it's like we've sent the guys out there. We sent Doug Ehrlich out there. We sent RVJ out there, and that particular weekend it wasn't their day.
Well, we've also sent, and when I say sent, I mean it is what it is. They got invited, but there's lots of guys that have gone to East versus West that were not elite, and we found out they were not elite. We should have known they were not elite, and they continue to go back over and over again. Now, they're not at the top of the food chain, but they're in the mix.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of those guys, and I guess that's how you qualify what is elite. I mean, there's lots of guys I could see, not challenging for top 10 anytime soon, but they keep getting called back there.
Well, okay, so I think barring injury, and I could be wrong, but where's Corey West at these days?
He's getting ready to pull a match against what's his name? The big Swedish guy.
Okay. Because I'm going, okay, I mean, if we're talking about...
Didn't that already happen?
No, that's happening at the next East versus West.
The one in Florida, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, even better, because up until that point, it's like going, Jerry, I think he postponed this one because he wanted to compete in the States. And I get that, but it's like our heavy hitters. No offense to Derek Smith, but it's like you can't drop down a weight because you can only lean out on a 6-footed frame so much. You're still going to carry a lot of weight. So he's going to be up in the supers. What does he need to do to get better? Chance dropped down a weight class, right? Is that what I understood? He dropped down a weight class?
Yeah, he went to 115. So
who does that leave as far as supers from our? It's either Jerry or Corey Rest, right? Because North America, Devin dropped down. Michael Todd dropped down.
Derek Smith Michael's talking about going. Michael keeps fluctuating. He keeps talking about going up, going down.
You see what I'm saying? From a super standpoint, the way I see it now, Dave's taking time off because he's trying to heal his injury. I'm sorry, but when your neck's out of whack, you don't know how much you use it until you compete, and then you go, oh crap, So let's just say Dave's taking time off. Who does that leave in the supers? Just 2 people. That's it.
Yeah, Jerry and Corey West.
Right, that is it.
Well,
if it's the next echelon down, then you go, okay, you got Michael. Is Chance? Is that he's in that 2? How much does Chance weigh anyway?
253 is what the
2
kilo is.
Chance drops down, so it's like okay, and then where do you put Brad Grundy at? Where is he?
He's on the 105. Like he went to 105. Okay. Yeah, he went to 231.
Gotcha. So again, we got fresh faces. Give Grundy another chance. You see what he did against Matt Mask? Give him a chance.
That's in the word. So
he went to 1 East First West, got a win, ain't heard from him since. So I guess it might be a revolving door, but then again, I'm not in the room where those decisions are made about who matches up with who, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I'd love to be a fly on the wall, but
I don't know what to tell you, Jody, because it's just dawning on me now that in supers, North America is pretty light.
We have 2 in the right, and we don't have as many we don't have very many in the left either. We have I mean, if you look at our top 5 supers left-handed right now, according to In the Hook ranking, it's Cody Merritt, who gave Alajon hell. Let's be honest. It wasn't an easy match for Alajon. Corey West, Devin, Ryan Espy, Michael Todd. That's your top 5 left-handed.
That's supers?
And then that's supers. And your right-handed top 5 is Devin, Jerry, Michael, Dave, and Corey West. So there's a lot of the same names in the top 5 right and left-handed.
Is it possible that a lot of these promoters are just not paying attention to the other promotions?
Yeah.
I'll give you an example.
Instead of being so negative toward them.
Would you believe that Devin actually wanted to arm wrestle me right-handed at the Nationals a week ago? He wanted to have a spar. He wanted to get on the table with me right-handed. And I had to show him the surgery scar. So,
I'm looking at our.
But I mean,
I'm looking at.
There's lots of things out there that happen, and I think people are oblivious to it.
So I'm looking at our 242 list for North America, right-handed, and most of these guys aren't even in this class anymore. Todd Hutchings is in the 105. That's not 242. That's 231. He's first. Then you have John Brzenk second, Marcio third, Pablo fourth, Matt Mask fifth, Ron Bath sixth. All 6 of those guys have been at East versus West, and rightfully so. They all 6 definitely deserve to be there.
I don't know.
Are we also accounting for King of the Table also?
I'm just saying East versus West. Then you go to left-handed. You have Marcio, Pablo, Brita, Robbie Topi, Ron Bath. All 5 of those guys have been at East versus West. Remember, Robbie Topi got a match as well.
Yeah.
I think I've said this a whole bunch of times, but I think what's missing in all of this is the process of getting to the elite. In North America, it's very, very different than anywhere else in the world. If you're European, you're going to WAF and you're competing there, and you normally will go there for a number of years. You will attend your national championships. You will go on to the world championships. In North America, we generally don't do that. We try to skip the queue.
Here, I'll be honest. So this is where people are going to sit there, and I'm going to get so much heat for saying this, but hey, it is what it is. Our nationals is fucked up. Wait, okay, 27
Which
minutes.
Which one?
Yeah.
Does it really matter at this point? I mean, I do think, I'm not trying to pick sides. I do think, I'm not to be biased, but I think IFA is starting to separate themselves from WAF, or the IFA national, which, if you want to get technical, all you got to do is show up and you're on Team USA. So there's that, okay? Then our national or U.S. national that took place in Pennsylvania not too long ago, it was like, okay, you look at the list, you're supposed to go, this is the Team USA that's going to WAF. So again, here's another thing for everybody in the chat, okay? So going back to England, how come we're not sending our elite guys? Hell, our elite guys, why they don't go to, WAF Worlds or Nationals? Because they've been there, done that. Chafee, WAF World title. Travis, WAF World title. Ron Bath, a few, handful, WAF World title. Brzenk, left hand, WAF World title. Do you see where I'm going with this? Like those guys have been there and done that. We don't do tournaments anymore.
Some
That's just what it is.
Top 20 North American arm wrestlers that are under 40 years old and have gone to WAF.
You won't find any.
We are at a point now, we as America, just United States, and I was talking to a good friend of mine who went to the Nationals. I said, why are we so far behind? He said he gave me 4 reasons. He says, 1, I think we're oversaturated with tournaments. 2, it's because the promoters don't know when to fucking, get together and say, hey, let's make this the best we can be. Hence why we got 2 nationals.
5
3,
nationals. We have 5 nationals.
Yeah, 5. 3 is because you look at it, everyone wants to do super matches nowadays. I get that, no one does tournaments anymore. And I can't remember what the 4th one was, but you got to realize this. If you're doing super matches just, within the USA, that's fine. But if you're using that as a stepping stone to go, hey, I want to go to elite, that's not it. Sorry, that's not it. Because the guys you pull in the States, the majority of them are not the same level as the guys you want to go pull when you head across the pond.
They're not even remotely in the same.
So y'all want to shoot me down for that comment? Have at it.
Well, I mean, all those points might be accurate. I mean, you can compete 25 times a year and avoid the top 5 guys wherever you go.
Yeah, 100%.
But on the other side of the coin, Ryan, how often do you see or hear this? Hey, Nathan just gave me the top 5 on the In the Hook rankings, right? If I'm ranked number 20 and I challenge one of those guys, 9 times out of 10 they're going to say, no, you're not on my level, or I'm focused on something else. So you don't even get the opportunity to do that either.
It's weird, man. It's weird also because as a guy that's turning 48 right away, you know, we're all getting up there, man. Like everyone's trying to hang on. And, you know, I'm going to enjoy a long career after Supermatch Arm Wrestling, going back to the Worlds and competing in the Masters and Grandmasters and, you know.
Well, I mean, I think there's a simple way to fix the dilemma of people not showing up to events. And especially in the United States. Europe, it's different. You know, arm wrestling is a state-sponsored sport over there. So they do make money off of being an arm wrestler. In the United States, you don't. So people have to start offering incentives for people to show up, cash incentives. If there's no money on the line, people aren't going to show up. I'm telling you right now.
You want to know why?
Why?
And I'm not going to blame any sort of promotion, but when UAL came around, started flashing all that money, and WAL came around, flashing all that money, and everybody got a bite of that apple or a slice of that pie, that's where it's at now. Because I remember U.S. Open, Bill Collins threw that event where the Kenny Hughes shows up and Brzezinski would show up, and it was who's who. And back in those days, it was about who was going to go. And I believe first place was $300, but it didn't matter because it wasn't about the money then. Once you raise that bar and people got a taste of that, you know, remember Robert Drink and UAL, they bunch of money. People flocked to it. Robert Drink fell out. Then now what? Oh, here comes Steve Kaplan. Remember those tournaments? Hey, 10 grand. Okay, we're going to go 20 grand. And then back to 10, and then we're going to go from there and go Supermatch format, which at the point it was great because we didn't have it like that. We didn't have that Super Series type atmosphere. But then after a while, when you only get a certain amount of people, then you start regurgitating the same matches over and over again. I missed the fucking, you know, the WAL tournament aspect of it. Because at least then everybody had a chance. You never know. Somebody may break out of that instead of having the same guys over and over and over again. And I'll still watch it because I'm a fan, but that's just the facts right there.
There is that incentive, like the state-sponsored arm wrestling, where arm wrestling becomes your job over there. Everyone thinks it's a huge advantage. I don't really buy it. I still think that you can train and eat and diet, like do all the things effectively and be competitive.
I disagree with that. Like I was going to say,
well, hang on, let me make my point.
Sorry.
If you're not going to agree with it, I'm going to finish off what I'm saying because
I apologize.
I don't believe that there's anyone in the world that can train effectively and optimally for 10 hours a day. They just can't. I don't believe that for a second. And I think that if you're going to say everyone has this huge advantage, is it an advantage? Yes. That's all you have to worry about. Is it the excuse you should ride off into the sunset with and enjoy your mediocrity? I don't think so. I think people can still be competitive. I just think that they need to have different priorities in life.
No, I agree with you 100%. What I was going to say to add on to that, Ryan, was like people say, oh, Americans work jobs. Like I can name you 50 Europeans right now that have jobs and still are winning WAF world titles.
Hey, didn't Vitaly, wasn't he a truck driver?
Truck driver. He only quit his job like in the last year.
And we know how truck drivers, they log in a bunch of hours.
But I mean, we talk about incentives. The incentives are still there for North Americans. They just look different because Chance, I don't believe he has a job, correct?
No, he gave up his job
He's an
to be
arm
full-time
wrestler. He's a
YouTuber.
YouTuber. Michael Todd, same thing. He does like training and stuff. Yeah, it's a job, but it's a job that's in the environment of the realm that he's in. There's obviously Devin, who he had a long career before he ever gave that up and just became a full-time arm wrestler and YouTuber. But I mean, you're seeing these guys. Brad Grundy is on board with that. He's not necessarily not going to work anymore, but he's monetizing himself through his YouTube channel. Matt Mask makes way too much money to quit, so he'll never quit, but he makes a lot of money through his YouTube channel as well. I mean, you can take a video of him making macaroni and it gets 50,000 views. Like there are incentives out there, but you got to be able to put yourself out there too.
Yep.
Unfortunately, you got to achieve a certain level of success before you can do that as well.
I agree.
Do you think, here's a question, Ryan and Jody, do you think it's like when you get these teams, i.e. the Kazakh team, the Swedish ladies, the Latvians, the Georgians, like you see the level that let's just say those four teams are together and who they train with and how they train and stuff like that. There's not that here. People don't really seek that out as much. They're content with being in, like, I'm going to use this, like people can be like, oh, you're a dick. But people in the United States are content with being backyard arm wrestlers. They're super content with it. Like they don't care. They'll love going to their little local tournament and competing once or twice a year and having fun and stuff like that. But over here, it's not taken as serious as it is in Europe.
Yeah, I agree. And I said this once upon a time, like months ago, because I think it was after the which East vs. West number was it where Paul Lynn, RVJ, and Doug Erlach went. I can't remember what number that was, but
I don't remember.
I'm like, I was excited for it. They even did a podcast show leading up to that event, thinking, all right, here's our future. These are our guys. And they all fell flat. And it's like, okay, now what? Would it be crazy? And I'm asking you two, I'm asking everybody in the chat, would it be crazy? And this is kind of going off your statement there, Nathan. What if the USA holds a camp at Bob Brown's barn? And say, no?
What if? I mean, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. It's not a camp. It's like you talked about the great. I don't know which one I think you mentioned it, Nathan. The great clubs, like you have the Latvians, you've got the Kazakhs, you've got the Georgians. Like this is the Turkish guys. Like they have this place they go, they train. It's ingrained. It's a lifestyle. It's not for a weekend out of the year. It is
daily.
They're doing.
No, I meant as far as once the card is set, and you got North America. All right, go to Utah, hit up Bob Brown, and those U.S. guys who are actually on that card. Whoever, if it's 3 guys, 4 guys, whatever. We'll take this last card for example. You take Todd Zilla, you take Borzinski, Chance Shaw, Travis, Artem. Take all those guys, go to Bob Brown's. You knew ahead of time, months in advance, you're going to be on this card. You go train there and bond. Make sure, because Bob Brown's like a dictionary almanac, right? You train hard and you do what you need to do. And I'm not saying you got to do it every single day, but just kind of go down there, maybe once a month leading up to that. Okay.
That's not going to do it.
No.
There's the problem. There's the problem. There's the problem you said right there. Once a month. These
people can't
teams,
travel.
Well, they're okay, exactly. These teams that I'm referring to, the Kazakhstanians, the Georgians, the Latvians, the Swedes, the Turks, they live, eat, and sleep within an X amount of range, and they're doing this stuff daily together. You can't be like, oh, I mean, like Adam Borzinski's got a great team in Carolina. Yeah. He does. So, I mean, he's not going to leave that team, nor would I blame him. He's got a great group of guys to train with there. But if you're not getting elite level competition and practice with your team every single day, like Bulgarians are a great example. Bulgarians will literally leave and train and live together for 3-4 months at a time and then go back and separate, come back 3-4 months. I mean, they do that right before Worlds every year. You're not going to reach that level. It's just not going to happen. Not anymore, at least. Like back in the day, yes, you could do that by doing your own thing when the level was lower. But now the level has reached so high that if you're not within, let's say, an hour of each other, it's going to be really hard to do it.
I think that foundations need to be maintained uh, daily. So you can't just do a training camp. The only way a training camp works, in my opinion, if you're not going to do this hard all the time, you're relying a lot on supplements to get you over the hump and get you, to be competitive. Um, and that's a problem. I do think there are clubs in the United States and Canada. I mean, how can you not get better if you're part of the Ottawa High Hookers? Put it that way.
Well, there's a comment right there.
Hey?
There's a comment right there about Jason Teal says, I wouldn't say Devin pulls the elites every day with his club.
No.
I was going to comment on that, but since I'll go ahead and comment, I was going to type it. But I'm like, yeah, Jason, true. But at the same time, Devin has things that a lot of us don't have. He has the time to travel. We see him overseas pulling. He goes to every single club. He's pulling. Not everybody can do that, though, either. Because he ain't working.
He couldn't always do that.
Right. But now
do that.
He's at a point, he's at a stage in his life where he can just fucking go wherever he wants to go. And that household is that household. If I were to do that, I'd probably be fucking divorced.
Well, there are sacrifices that people are willing to make.
Those guys that Nathan said, the Bulgarians, whatever, that's their lifestyle. That's not our lifestyle. If we were to pull that same stuff those guys would, all of us would be fucking single. Then we probably could do it. But
100%. I don't think my wife's watching today. She might be, but if I were to tell her, hey,
hi, Victoria,
I'm having arm wrestling practice 5 nights a week instead of once every second week, it would be a problem. It would be a big problem.
Yeah,
if I did that, my wife says, I ain't feeding y'all every night. So,
yeah. Well, I'm also using the point that these guys that are doing that, like if we take in, like, let's say Latvia, like Coach Ray is a full-time YouTuber. I don't know if he works or not, but Giannis has a job. Tom Zarozitz has a job. Raymond Zantanovich has a job, but they're still there training together every single day.
Those guys are tip of the spear guys too. So you can't tell me you can't have a career and be an elite.
Yeah.
Because they have. And Vitaly only quit his job in the last year.
I think he's managing his trucking company now. I think he was driving and now he hired another driver, from what I understand.
That's still
Todd Zilla's the engineer, right?
Adam Orzinski's an engineer.
Yeah. So they still work.
Yep.
I'm just saying that, we can put our thumb on a lot of stuff. Like I said before, not to beat a dead horse, but our guys are not doing tournaments anymore. These guys who are getting ready for WAP, they're constantly training, getting ready for these top elite competitions. We're not doing that no more. A lot of it has to do with politics. I get it. You don't want to get caught up in that bullshit and getting banned and all that dumb stuff. I get that. But at the same time, it's like, where do we go to get the elites? Where?
They have to. You find them when you find them. I don't think that you can go out there and just start a search. I think they come up when they come up.
Yep. I think Chance has every opportunity. Corey West has every, they have a chance to be an elite, to be, one of those top guys.
Yeah.
Derek Smith has the tools, the physical tools to be there.
Everything. Yes. Everything to be there.
And I love Derek so much. I really do. But when you pull once or twice a year, you're not getting any younger, man.
Yeah, I mean,
in Derek's defense, they did feed him to the wolves very early on in East versus West.
Sure did.
And that's another thing. He be fucking us over big time. Like, dude.
He's working with what he can.
But you got to remember when they gave Derek Smith that match, it was right after the way he looked against Tim Bresnan, and he looked very good against Tim Bresnan.
But then Tim woke up and went back
to Matt Mask, and there you go. So
then you had, that's the issue. So not only did Derek look really good against Tim, Tim then went on and beat an elite opponent.
Mm-hmm.
So
and then that same Matt Mask beat Derek.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking years though. What, 3 years difference there between Derek
Okay,
beating Tim and.
But here's my argument though. You're taking that much time off in between matches. How are you not getting better?
Well, he didn't take time off. He went and pulled East versus West. They both did. Everybody but Tim went and pulled East versus West.
No, I mean as far as like Derek Smith, his last match before he pulled Matt Math at King of the Table. How far apart was that?
He pulled Mehdi at East versus West and beat him.
You know what would be even better, Jody? Then I just thought of this. Then your camp idea in the United Bob Brown's place. I think people just going overseas and seeing how everyone else trains, because we have this really ingrained.
Didn't Chance do that?
Well, we have this really ingrained thing where we feel like failure is the best way to go. So when we're doing exercises, train to failure, train to failure, train to failure. There are so many that are now moving past that and going back into other methods of training where they don't even approach that level of fatigue in their movements.
I have an idea how people train over there, because just in conversations, I was blown away. So when I was in England last year for Arm Wars and got up early in the morning, drinking coffee, and I'm sitting there on the table chit-chatting with Maynard Ninjas. And just the way he conversates blew me away. Here in the States, we have like our teams and stuff. He said, no, our clubs. Just that was like, oh, shit, club, huh? Yeah, we got about 20, 30 guys in our club. I'm like, well, what the fuck? He goes, well, bunch of tables. Half the guys are doing table work. Other guys on the weights. Midway through the practice, they rotate.
That's very serious, though, because I've been to a lot of arm wrestling practices, and we're treating this like a social gathering unless you have somebody that's there kind of as a drill sergeant. That's just the way it is. Yeah. And that's fine, but you
don't expect a lot.
Don't expect a ton of, good stuff out of that. The other thing is, if you've been pinned 75 times in practice, there is no training philosophy in the world that will tell you that getting 75 negative reps on an arm is productive. It should be somewhere around, a few matches where you get stretched out and pinned. That is an overload of everything. Now, I understand that if you show up and you're like the weakest guy there and you get pinned a few times, you want to keep going and do some work. But that's where your training partners come in as well and do a little spotting and don't give you everything they have.
And I don't mean coming to practice late.
We have a punishment
10 minutes and then fucking chipping and dipping. That ain't fucking shit either.
Jody, when we have a thing at our practice, and this might be interesting for everyone watching, is we do there's a punishment that comes with being late at practice. You have to go to the table and you have to arm wrestle every other person at that practice in a row, regardless of whether you won or lost the match. That is your punishment for showing up late. So
I think practice is done wrong a lot in the United States too, just in general.
Agreed.
Like you said, people just want to go in there, like you said, Ryan, and just pin each other. Like they don't want to work. Like you'll get a top roller in there that only wants to top roll. I'm like, well, why aren't you working inside game? Like, do you think you're just so good at top rolling you're never going to get? I mean, if you're a Rackley, yeah, you're not, or Vitali, yeah, you don't have to work your inside game, I guess, because your outside game's so good. But they still work it, right? Like nobody seems to want to work their weaknesses.
This is some of the things we do at my practice when everyone shows up. I'll have one guy, hey, I want you to top roll. I want you to hook and then see where it goes. Who can get there first, and we're not so much pinning each other, but I want you to add as much back pressure as you can, and I want you to see if you can hook that. I want you to have so much cupping and side pressure, I want to see if you can bust his hand open. And after that, those same two guys will switch. Now you're doing top roll, you're doing hooks, so that way you get a taste of both entities or whatnot. That kind of stuff. Because at some point, if you're all top roll, someone's going to grab you low and turn you in. Now what? Right? Yeah. If you're a hooker the whole time, someone busted you back like that. Now you got to be able to kind of defend that. that's what we try to do, but it's like, you know.
I was at the Nationals, and every time there's two significant arm wrestlers having a sparring session at the after pull, you've got 25 cell phones recording it. So everyone wants to get a win on somebody. So I mean, you're going to see a guy like Devin Laird go on the arm wrestling table, and he is there for hours. By the time it's over, he's getting beat by a lot of guys. But the context of it is there's Devin getting beat by this guy that nobody's heard of. They don't tell you that he's been arm wrestling all night.
Yeah, for 4 hours.
Yeah. So it's when I was arm wrestling at that after pull, I want to just feel with somebody. It's not about me beating them. It's about me, learning something, maybe figuring some stuff out for later, seeing where they're at. And
are you referring to when you went to Las Vegas, you have to pull a Cody Merritt and all the fucking cameras came out of nowhere?
I'm not, but that happens all the time.
Right.
I had quite a few matches at the Nationals, and then later in the night, pulling a guy, and lo and behold, there's a video of it. I didn't even know it was being filmed, but I should have assumed.
Well, here's the thing, and this is my attitude. I don't give a flying fuck if I get pinned out. It's just after pull. We're just sparring. We're just trying to feel each other, because most times in the tournaments, you see somebody in your class, you want to meet up, and for some reason it doesn't happen because either he got put out and you stayed on, or I got put out and he stayed on, but you want to know. So we do after pull, whatever. Let me just see what you got here. And, that's what we're doing. And, yeah, I've got taken down many times, but is he that much stronger than you? I'm not going, dude, we're just shut the fuck up. We're just sparring. Like, why does everything have to be a big deal? Do people understand that sparring and tournament are two different things?
So here's a question for you. So Joe Nelson asked me, Ryan, did you grip up with Ole after Nationals? I did. And here's where context is important. I felt really, really comfortable with him. However, I know that he had been arm wrestling a lot before he got on the table with me. So I don't have an accurate picture of where he's at. I think that I match up way, way better with him than Porkchop did, simply because I have a tougher hand and wrist and a longer arm to go against him. But
matchups. I mean, yeah, I can go into that too, Ryan. Robbie. I can't beat Robbie. There's not a day. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. I'm not beating Robbie. We know that. But at practice, if Robbie gets wore out, I might be able to slip a pressing on Robbie or go fast and get Robbie. Does that mean I'm stronger than Robbie? Hell no. Because I won't move him unless he wants to be moved. We know that. So it's like,
right.
Yeah, it is.
That's how you get these newbies here. We're all the want to sit there and film and stuff. And I've done it too in the past where, I put some stuff on film of me and Michael Todd sparring, me and Travis Bajan sparring. That doesn't mean I can beat them in an actual match. And people get this false sense of, oh man, you pinned Michael Todd. I'm like, well, we're sparring, man. I mean, we knew what it was. We were sparring, and this was left-handed, but we were sparring, and I knew he was coming off pneumonia. We just came off a hike up to Multnomah Falls and came back down and stuff. So I knew he was tired. And I just wanted to see what an elite hand felt like on a ready go.
It's an interesting sport, because I can't really think of many other sports where people keep doing the sport after they did a big event. You know what I'm saying?
Basketball, maybe. Basketball.
Do they,
basketball.
Have you ever seen
golf? I can definitely say I've seen it with golf. Like, you see a golfer go out, they'll play 18, they may have had a weakness in their game that day, and they'll go to the range and start working on it.
A fair point, but I mean, that's I don't know that I've ever seen an arm wrestler say, or heard an arm wrestler say, I got beat here, I need to work on this weakness, I need to pull specifically this position for all the after pulls. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
They all do. They don't say it out loud, but it's just a note to themselves.
Yeah.
Well, Well, I mean, if you're getting busted back in the tournament and your wrist is shot now, I mean, you going into after pulls thinking you're going to be able to catch somebody in the top roll is pretty not smart.
Well, what's the rule of thumb? Once your hand gets busted back once, it's going to always go back?
It seems to be that way, doesn't it?
Unless you give it up freely, and then you're usually all right. But usually,
right?
Usually.
So what's coming up, y'all? What's coming up for you guys?
We're talking about what's next.
I got this weekend.
What's this weekend?
Hey,
Hey,
yes, Friday night. Jamie Sheldon and myself will do battle. Yeah.
That's Friday night. Where can we watch it?
You can't.
That's very unsatisfying.
Dude, there's production there, man.
Do we get to learn the result before it goes on TV?
That's a tricky question because I talked about some of the finals from last year, but never I talked about who won. And then the only reason why I talked about it because those guys were posting that they won. So that's why I only said something.
Oh, yeah.
It's a gray area, I guess.
Yeah.
Call it.
That's Friday. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so Jamie Sheldon, right hand, and also left hand. And then obviously Saturday is the tournament. The South region. They got 2 South regions, which is weird. But the South region WSA qualifier, World Series of Arm Wrestling. Yeah. So I've been in talks with Greg all week. So
what day do you fly out for that?
I'll leave early Thursday morning.
Okay.
So I'm staying till Monday.
And Nathan, where are you this weekend?
Same place.
Same place.
Same place. Same times.
You guys both pulling the tournament?
Nathan has to ref everything.
I'm pulling just the left hand. So
make sure you foul Jody out.
Well, it's everything's ref script, and it's a 3-foul system, so there is no.
Okay, let me ask you. Okay, this is one quick subject before we go. When you're putting on the ref script, what's the style of ref script?
I close your thumbs. I close your hands. I say ready, go.
Yeah. Okay.
It's not WAL. It's not a set grip. It's a ref
it's
script.
not this. It's not that.
It is a 100% ref script.
Let me ask you a couple more questions because I was thinking about this because even though you go to the nationals, worlds, whatever, you get a referee's grip, it's strict, but they're asking you a couple things. You want your thumb capped or uncapped or whatever language you decide to use. At that point, do you think that you should even ask the competitors for any preference, or should you just close your hands the way that you see fit as a referee?
You're supposed to ask before you get to that point, right?
Yes, you are.
So my thing is, this is how I do mine. So I'll look before you even come back to the table. I'll ask you, do you want to go over or under? And then I will tell you who's getting close first before your elbows are even planted.
I've had guys change it between restarts, though.
They're
okay, now I want to go thumb up.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. I have no issues. That's when I asked. I said, "Are you still going over? Are you still going under?" Right? And most people screw this up in a ref script, and I don't think referees understand they're doing it. But if you're a competitor, so I'll use my hand here as an example. If you come to the table and your hand is here, right? And you say you want to go over, as I close your thumb, your hand will be closed there. I will not bring you up. If you come up, that is a foul. Mm-hmm. Most refs will bring them up. They'll be like, I want to be higher. Well, no, that's not how this works, bud. You set your hand there, your hand gets closed there. That's how it's supposed to be. A lot of referees screw that up.
So let me ask you this, just in case I may or may not use this, but ref script, right? We're here, and all of a sudden I say, I want under my thumb. Are you lifting my thumb up, or am I keeping my thumb up?
I will keep your thumb up. And I will also know, and the thing that I don't like is when a referee tells them to close their thumbs, because if you tell me to close my thumb, I can cheat like crazy in that. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Because I can cheat, I can slide back, I can do a lot of stuff. I'll close the competitor's thumb, and I'll be able to feel if he's pushing or something like that, because I always have one hand in control.
This is one of those things where people get fouls and they complain. Because when you put referee's grip and you have a hold of them and they just put their thumb down, well, technically that's a foul. Yeah.
I tell people, I don't care if you pick a pinky up. If your pinky twitches, it's a foul.
And on the flip side of that, when they go to the strap, is there a value in just setting it where the referee sees fit instead of high or low and then watching the negotiation that happens with that strap?
If you tell me low, that strap is going that 1 inch below that wrist bone. If you tell me high, it's going right at the bottom of your hand. That's your option.
I guess
that's fair.
I guess my question is, why is there even an option?
Because some people, I do know some people, they like it. If you're a presser, they tend to like the strap higher. Or if you're a hook puller, you tend to like that strap higher because you can get more engagement. The strap's not really sliding on you as much. So
okay, so we're putting the strap on, and you know how some refs have the strap come down here.
Yeah.
And I asked the strap to come that way. Because if you come
they're
down here,
wrong.
it's going to shut down anything I want to do.
Yeah, it's because they do it wrong.
Yeah, I'd rather have it at an angle rather than have it straight down like that.
It should never be across the knuckles.
So all I'm saying is we always complain. It seems like there's always complaints about how long a match takes to set up.
Yep.
So would there be a value, and this is, as far as I know, the first time this has come up, to the referee just putting the strap in a position without question and the referee's grip in a position without question?
Yeah, you mean fair and fair.
Fair and fair, and just say ready, go, without negotiating with an arm wrestler of where they want the strap placed or where they want their thumb placed.
I mean, yes, it would speed things up, but then it goes against every quote unquote written rule from every organization. You know what I mean? And everything you're taught as a referee.
Well, it seems like a pretty minor change, especially if you're contemplating the difference between amateur and professional arm wrestling, whereas a national championship would be considered amateur.
Yeah. I mean, I'll manipulate as the strap's getting applied or tightened. Like, I'll move my hand and stuff to get the strap where I want it. You know what I mean? Like, to get the strap sliding down my hand more, so on and so forth. Like, there's ways you can manipulate it, even if it's, quote unquote fair from the ref. You can still manipulate that strap if you're smart enough.
Yeah, I suppose.
So,
it'll be fun no matter what. I mean, it's just now, I have to get used to the rest grip, that's every start's going to be that way. So,
yeah.
But well, guys, we should wrap
her. Hey?
But you get 3 fouls. I mean, there's no warnings, though, which, like I said, I like. Like we've talked about this several times, Ryan. Like King of the Table does it, there's 3 fouls, but there's no warnings in the ref script. Whereas East versus West, you get 2 warnings, but 2 fouls in a ref script.
Yeah.
Hey, I know we're about to sign off, but can y'all stay on for 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Sure.
After we sign off. Sorry, chat. Sorry, this is big business over here. Sorry about that.
I want to do a shout out to Pain Plant Arm Wrestling for sending me all the handles, and if you go over to my shorts on this channel, you'll see a lot of that, a lot of the stuff they've been sending me, and some of the best is yet to come. So,
sweet.
There you go. All right, everybody. So long. Thanks for watching.